Good morning and welcome to Simplify Your Time COVID Edition. I'm Kathy Bates with Practical Solutions. And today we're going to be talking about how time management looks a lot different during COVID and how we can manage our time and still be productive with work or school or whatever you're doing at home. So we're glad you joined us. Life was really crazy before COVID. If you think about our schedules, we were constantly going, trying to cram as much as we could in for ourselves and for our children's schedules. So we thought more was better, and we really didn't think we could live without all those things. However, about mid-March, there was a huge pause button hit. Everything stopped. We were stuck at home. All of our activities were different. People were doing school and work at home, and things really got crazy. I don't know about you, but my 3 adult children decided it was time to come home. 2 of which didn't have to, but didn't want to miss out on the family fun. And we were all scrambling, trying to do our jobs, our school, everything we had to do, all in a house that actually had plenty of room for everyone. However, we started getting on top of each other, trying to fight for time for the computers, for quiet spaces in the homes. So life got a little crazy. And we've all agreed that even though we should have more time, we're not commuting, we're not, involved in all these activities, so many things were canceled, yet still things seem to be taking twice as long. And so we're going to talk a little bit about how to make ourselves more productive today in our work so that we have time for what's important. So we're going to start by talking about managing your work and school at home, because many of us are about to, our kids start school at home. We're going to be working at home. We thought it was like temporary. We set up makeshift offices and spaces to do our work, but now we're looking at a long-term, work at home situation, school at home. So if you missed our Simplify Your Home COVID edition, the first one we did the first week in August, go back and look at that because we talk a little bit about space. Having your space organized is very important to time management. So having a space in which to work, having your kids have a space in which to work where they're not distracted is very important. So space is important. Start with a structured, organized space. The next thing is you really want to put some structure into your day. So, it's very easy to say, well, I don't really have to be at work at a certain time. We can do school whenever. And you get behind, you sleep in, you kind of get out of your schedule, and all of a sudden you realize your day is not productive. So I think it's really important to stick to a schedule. It's going to be modified. It's going to look different than your normal school schedule. Maybe you get to sleep in a little bit because you don't have to commute to work or school, and you just have to roll out of bed and get ready and sit at your desk. So, but do wake up, take a shower, get dressed, eat breakfast, set a new routine, and make sure you have structure in your day. And structure maybe in your work day or your school day. Maybe this is the time for math and this is the time for language arts. Or for us working at home, we have things we plan out to do during our day. I encourage you to do things that require a lot of focus and the best time of your day. For me, that's the morning. For you, that might be the afternoon, depending on whether you're a morning person or more of a night person. So think about those things, put some structure in your day, break at the same time for lunch maybe, have lunch together. That's something to look forward to. Maybe take a walk. We're going to talk about activities later, but have structure in your day. Take time to plan out meals. So many times we waste time because we don't have anything in the house to eat. So we go out. We're wasting time, we're wasting money, and obviously not as healthy as eating at home. So, once a week when you go to the grocery store, plan out some good, easy things to fix for your meals. Think about in the morning, do I need to take anything out for dinner? and start planning those meals so when the time comes, it's a lot easier to take that healthier option. But do build an activity into your schedule. When we're talking about that routine, it's really important to have activity built in there. We're so used to maybe at work walking to the restroom or the water cooler or to somebody's office to ask them a question that now we're just stuck at our desk, and we find that we're sitting for longer periods of time, and of course sitting is the new smoking, as we well know. So when we're sitting, our brain stops working. We don't have any blood flow. So I encourage you maybe to set an alarm every hour or so. Get up, move around. Maybe you want to take a quick walk. Maybe you want to do squats on your way to the bathroom. Get some weights that you set beside your desk and do a couple of weights, maybe some jumping jacks or just stretch. Those kind of things are going to get blood flowing to your brain again. And that's really important for you to be more productive during the time you are working. And I think this is especially important for our children. They can't sit for very long and do their work. This might be built into their schedule of, get done with your math and then we're going to go out on a quick bike ride. Something fun. I don't encourage a lot of screen time during the productive part of your day, but things that get your blood flowing and get you moving is going to help you be more productive, especially those kids that are not meant to sit all day, every day. They may want to have 40 minutes on, 20 minutes off, something like that. You know your kids, you know what's best for them. But I do encourage some physical activity. Set boundaries. I don't know about you, but I feel like people are trying to work their own schedule, and it requires me to be available all the time. Let the people you're working with know at 5 o'clock, I'm done. I started at 8, now it's 5, and I'm done. I'm going to turn off my phone. I'm not going to check my email, and I'll get with you tomorrow. But setting those boundaries when you can, obviously. If your boss needs you, you might want to respond. But as much as you can, set those boundaries. Clock out, start thinking about dinner, what you're going to do that evening, something to get your mind off of things. Then also you're going to want to incorporate other people's schedules into your schedule. And this was the hardest thing when we all came home and were trying to work. We were fighting for internet and quiet spaces. You may not have a space in your house where everyone can work. You may not have a computer for everyone. So you might be sharing those things. And so it's really important for you to maybe have a schedule, maybe do it in Google Calendar. I love to do everything in Google Calendar, maybe Apple Calendar. Just have a good calendar that everyone can share, whether that's paper or whether it's online. Everybody can look at it, everybody can put their time in there and make sure they have what they need when they have their class or their meeting. Limit Zoom. I don't know about you guys, but Zoom fatigue is a real thing. And when this first started, everybody was Zoom crazy. And I have had to back off on some of the Zooms I participate in. Not everything has to be done. There are good things and there are great things. And there are things I should spend my time on and things I shouldn't. So I think by limiting your Zoom, and this may be even with work, you've got a big project you're working on. There's a bunch of Zoom meetings scheduled. Maybe you don't feel like they're ones you have to be at, but they're on your schedule. Go to your boss and say, hey, I've really got this project I'm working on. I'd like to just, commit all this time to that. Is it okay if I miss that meeting? Those kind of things can be non-productive sometimes. Then set rewards for yourself and your kids. At the end of the day, go for a bike ride, play a video game, whatever it might be. Get out. I've loved walking in the neighborhood. That's something I've picked up doing during this time more. Getting out because I need some fresh air, change of scenery. But in the evening, plan something fun to do and really put that work aside and get to something fun. So I would like to ask you guys to participate as always. Make sure you're commenting below, asking questions. I like the interaction. But what were some of the things you found that you had time to do when things shut down? I've heard so many stories from families saying, we spent 100 meals in a row, eating together as a family on our back porch. That was one of the more fun things I heard of because it was still nice weather. People were outside. They ate 100 meals together as a family. That can never happen, especially with them. They have 4 kids that are very active. So that was a nice little reward. Um, Walking in the neighborhood, like I said, I loved that. People getting together and socializing on the back porch, maybe sitting with a neighbor, social distancing outside where there's fresh air. What were some of the things you did during this time that you would never have done before? And it gave you an opportunity to do that. Share that in the comments below. Also, I want you to take this time to get a piece of paper. It can be a scratch piece of paper. We're going to do a little activity. So we've talked about how to be productive in your work and your school. If y'all have questions, put those below. We're going to talk about when things open back up. So I'm sure when everything shut down, there were some things you thought, oh, I'm really going to miss that. And there were other things where you said, I really couldn't care less if that ever comes back into my life. It's, I feel relieved that it's gone. Write some of those things down. So write the things down that you couldn't live without. And feel free to share them in the comments below. And thanks, Christina, for sharing that enjoying meals together and enjoying time with neighbors. Those are really important things. I know I got to know so many of my neighbors because we were outside walking all the time, just trying to get out of the house. That's a great thing. And then what were some of the things that you would really love to leave off of your plate? You don't want to have them back. Write those things down and make a list of these things as we're talking and as you think of them, and keep this list in front of you because things are eventually going to go back to normal. I know it doesn't seem like they will, but eventually they will. Who would have known 6 months we would be doing this? We may be doing it another 6 months. Who knows? But take the time to write down those and set them as goals. Maybe reword them so that they're goals for your post-COVID activities. This may mean, as you go back, taking one thing you really enjoy and seeing what kind of time you have before you add another thing. This may be mean asking your kids to get down to one activity at a time. So if they're playing a sport, they don't do music at that time. Or maybe they have one sport and one music activity. Whatever you feel is comfortable for your family, but don't get back into the crazy lifestyle of running, and never having time for that meal at home and all those things that we have enjoyed during COVID. And before you say yes to things, make sure you take time and think about it. Don't give an immediate answer when somebody says, hey, I really want you to join this club or this activity. Say, you know what, let me think about it for a little bit. See if it fits into your schedule. See if it's something you want to do. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But don't let yourself get crazy again. And again, the calendars, I like to have reminders on my calendar. I just live by my calendar. If I need to follow up with someone, I put it on my calendar to remind me in a couple weeks. If I have activities or my kids' activities or my husband's activities, I like to have them all on my calendar so that I make sure I don't double book myself, I don't get over scheduled, and I have time for what's important. And that's really why we manage our time. We all have the same number of hours in the day. We all have the same time given to us, but how we use it is important. You see these super, super productive people that are go, yet still have time for their family. And that's because they manage their time so well. And we may not want to cram that much into our day, but we still want to manage our time so that we do have time for that family time, for our friends, for ourselves. I think that's something we've discovered during this COVID time is that, I'm taking more time to exercise and eat well. And I know that will make you feel better. It'll make you more productive in your work. And that's something that I've loved seeing, and also just the time with family and friends and really treasuring that. Something also as you go into, future busyness is if you go to our website, it's psorganizing.com, P as in practical, S as in solutions, organizing.com. There's a resource page, and that's where you can find all kinds of resources. But under there, scroll all the way down, and there's something for time management. And I've got there a form that I use, and I would post up on your bulletin board or somewhere, your refrigerator, to remind you of how to prioritize things. And it is Covey's time management matrix. So the time management matrix is just, I'll show you my copy. It's forward. That's good. You can kind of see it. So what you want to do is when you have things come up, you kind of put them in a quadrant and decide, is this urgent and important and needs to be done immediately? Is this urgent but not important and maybe can be put off, given to someone else? Or it doesn't have to be done perfectly. It doesn't have to be done by me. And then you have, let's see, urgent, not urgent, but that was not urgent. Urgent but not important. We already did that. Urgent and not urgent and important. This is something that maybe you can put on your schedule to do when time allows. And then not urgent, not important, maybe something you just mark off your list and you don't do. But this quadrant will help you print it out, put it somewhere where you can think about as you get back into the busyness of life, see what kind of things you want to add in your schedule. This is a good way to prioritize. When you sit down at the beginning of a day and you go, oh my gosh, I've got like 3 days worth of work to get done in one day. This is really important to use. Maybe there are things you delegate. Maybe there are things you just mark off your list. And maybe there are things that you put at the front of your day to get done quick and then, get to the other ones as you can. But this is a great tool. So let me know what questions you have in the comments. I would love for you guys to participate and put anything you like down there. Make sure you follow us and like us on Facebook. Like and share this video. Maybe a lot of people could really benefit from a little time management these days, and maybe they would enjoy it. And join us on September 8th. We're going to do our first Facebook Live that is not the Simplify series, and it's going to be our monthly Facebook Live, Tuesdays at 10, our first one September 8th, and we're going to talk about hoarding. So maybe you have a family member or friend, or maybe you yourself have problems with hoarding. Join us, because I have been helping hoarders for over 18 years. We have a very different approach. It's not like the TV shows, which may make the person feel like they're being rushed. We respect that person and their decisions, making sure they keep what's important to them, but let go of all the things that are holding them down. We'll talk about some techniques, some things you want to remember when you are organizing yourself or maybe helping someone organize. But we would love for you to join us then. If you don't already get our newsletter, go to our website again, psorganizing.com, and you can sign up for the newsletter there. And that'll let you know when we're going live again, what other events we're having as things open up. Hopefully we'll have some free shed days coming up, different live events. But we appreciate you joining us today, and feel free to, whether you're live or watching the rebroadcast of this, to put any comments, questions. We'll be checking back. But thanks for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you next time.